Finally, the fourth component of a healthy relationship, and I'll just touch on it now and we'll finish it up next week, positive perception. In a relationship, a healthy relationship, the partners have to be benefit finders. They have to appreciate one another. Because remember, if we don't appreciate, the good depreciates. If we don't appreciate what is working in a relationship past the honeymoon phase, the relationship will enter a downward spiral. And unfortunately, that happens to most relationships because we begin to take it for granted. And if we take for granted a relationship, it withers and dies. If we take for granted our own potential, that potential withers and dies. So benefit finding is important in a relationship. To focus on the discipline of my partner rather than on the rigidity. To focus on their sense of humor rather than look at it as frivolous. Focusing on the good, focusing on what works, and that is then accentuated. However, successful, thriving couples take this a step further. They're not just benefit finders. They have what Sandra Murray calls positive illusions. In other words, they think of their partner more than other people think of them. So the experiment that Sandra Murray did was the following. She asked couples to evaluate one another's strengths. And then she asked other people who are close to these two partners to evaluate their strengths. And what she found was that couples who evaluated accurately, meaning they evaluated their partner in the same way as others, friends, family members, evaluated them, they were okay. They were okay together. Couples who evaluated one another's strengths on a lower level, meaning they didn't evaluate them as good, as strong, as powerful, as virtuous, or whatever it was, as other people did, whether it's family or friends, these relationships did not last for long on average. Couples who evaluated each other at a higher level, meaning as better than friends evaluated them, as better than family evaluated them, these couples' relationships were most likely to thrive and succeed over time. And Sandra Murray called it, because they were not connected to the evaluation of other people, Sandra Murray called it positive illusions. Now, or another term used, Brian Little uses this term, having an illusory glow about them, seeing them as better than supposedly they really are. Now, I agree partially with Sandra Murray. I agree with her that it is important to have these high, more positive evaluations. The one thing I disagree with Murray is on the use of the word illusion, because I don't think that is an illusion. In fact, it is very real. It is very real because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And here I'm introducing a new term in addition to benefit finding, benefit creating. Seeing things that were not there or that other people have not seen and then making it real. I mean, think about it in another domain. Was Marva Collins detached? Did Marva Collins have positive illusions about her students? Not at all. I would argue that the other teachers were detached because they didn't see that potential in their students. Marva Collins was very much connected, and she focused on the positive and created the benefits. Abraham Maslow, not only does love perceive potentialities, but it also actualizes them. Let me tell you a quick story about Tommy. And as I mentioned to you, Tommy is the consummate merit finder. In fact, she's a merit creator. So this was at a time when Tommy was 8 months pregnant. Huge baby. Those of you who know David, he's a very big baby. Like father, like son. So this is 8 months pregnant. And Tommy takes me for one of those talks that those of you in long-term relationships know about. And she says, Tal, you know, this is getting really heavy. This is really difficult for me, and I just need your help more. You just need to help me a little bit more in the house. And I said to her, fine. I felt so sheepish and so inconsiderate. I said, no, I'm sorry, fine. So what can I do? And she said, you know, shopping this afternoon would help. I just can't carry these bags anymore. So I went over to Star Market, filled up the entire refrigerator, not only brought the things home, but actually put them in the refrigerator. And because I felt so guilty. And then Tommy saw that and she said, you know, thank you so much for doing it. And I said to Tommy, you know, I'm really sorry that you had to tell me. You know, I should have done it without you. And she said, no. You know, this is what I love about you so much. You're so considerate and you listen to me when I talk. So I did the dishes too. Again, benefit creating rather than only benefit finding or focusing on what doesn't work. I will not see you on Tuesday. I'm away for almost for the whole week of Passover, but you're going to have a treat on Tuesday with an amazing lecture by Sean on humor. I'll see you. So let me move on and just finish up on positive perception. I want to show you an excerpt from one of my favorite movies, I think one of the best movies, certainly in the realm of psychology ever made, from As Good as It Gets. And here is the part where Holly Hunter tells Jack Nicholson that he better give her a compliment, and it better be a good compliment, because if it is not, she's getting up and leaving. He had just said something very offensive to her. So here is what he has to say to the woman he loves.
Okay. Now, I got a real great compliment for you, and it's true.
So afraid you're about to say something awful.
Don't be pessimistic. It's not your style. Okay. Here I go. It's clearly a mistake. I got this, ailment. My doctor, a shrink that I used to go to all the time, he says that in 50 or 60% of the cases, a pill really helps. I hate pills. Very dangerous thing, pills. Hate. I'm using the word hate here about pills. Hate. My compliment is, that night when you came over and told me that you would never... all right, well, you were there. You know what you said. Well, my compliment to you is, the next morning, I started taking the pills.
I don't quite get how that's a compliment for me.
You make me want to be a better man.
That's maybe the best compliment of my life.
Well, maybe I overshot a little because I was angry just enough to keep you from walking out.
This is the essence of benefit creating. You make me want to be a better man, a better woman, a better person. You make me want to do the dishes as well. What do we do then How do we get a relationship or partners in a relationship to focus on the positive, to focus on the benefit, to focus on creating more good there? Well, we're going back to the very first lesson, very first class, and that is the importance of questions. Remember, questions begin a quest. When we ask a certain question, we see certain things that we didn't see before. When we ask a certain question, we're also avoiding or not seeing part of reality. Remember the geometric shapes. It's all you saw. You didn't see colors. You didn't see children on the bus. Most of you did not see the clock. And very often in relationships, the questions that we ask after the honeymoon is, what's wrong? What happened? Or what can be improved? And again, these are important questions with very good intentions, but we just avoid or don't see an important part of reality. So the questions that we need to ask are also the positive questions that will allow us to see the children on the bus. What am I grateful for in my partner? And it's important to do that always, especially during difficult times, because there's always something to appreciate. And if we don't appreciate that thing, the good depreciates, whether it's applying to our country, to our organization, to our relationship, as well as to ourselves. Second positive question, what is wonderful about our relationships? What's working? Why are we together in the first place? What do I love about him, her, us? What's good? And when we ask what's good, that's when we perceive it. And when we perceive it, when we appreciate it, it appreciates. It's not a surprise that the statistics are as they are, what we saw last time, that most relationships flounder, and even those that stay together don't really thrive. No, it's no coincidence. It's because most of the questions that we ask, again with good intentions, no one has the intention, certainly not going into a relationship, to end it or not to thrive in it. But most of the questions that we ask, that we are taught to ask, are the ones that focus us on the metaphorical geometric shapes. And what we need to do is open up a new quest, new opportunities, see things that are there all along, that we simply have overlooked. Again, the quote from Robert M. Pirsig's book, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. So often, we look for the truth, and then the truth comes and knocks on our door, and we say to it, go away, I'm looking for the truth. Very often, it's right in front of us. All we need to do is look, and one way to look, one way to guide our attention toward what is right in front of us is by asking also the positive questions.